So I'm sitting here on a gloomy Wednesday with a storm coming up, and I'm thinking about the election. Everybody's been thinking about it. We went and voted yesterday, or hopefully before, and we were expecting this big red wave. And I'm really glad that that big red wave didn't materialize. And I'm kind of surprised because it's a tough economy with high inflation. You've got high interest rates, and it's really surprising that the GOP didn't do better under those circumstances. You have a kind of an easy punching bag guy like Biden who stumbles over his words and is old and it's just been easy to pick on and blame for the ills of the nation when, if you really look around, there was inflation all over the world. There were reasons for it, supply chain, otherwise, price gouging. There are wars going on that are affecting these things. There's oil production. There was a pandemic and so much stuff. And it was easy to just say, oh my gosh, let's blame it on this guy. And that's just kind of how midterms go. The guy in office tends to lose ground. But I think the abortion issue, among others, I'm not a political pundit, but I think that's one that really struck a nerve with people. So, especially women, people that care about them nationwide said, wait, this is maybe a bridge too far. So, all things considered, if you're a Democrat type like me, you look around and say, okay, that wasn't as bad as it could have been. There were some wins that I liked, there were some losses, and some things I understand. I was disappointed that DeSantis beat Christ because I don't like DeSantis. I think Christ is a pretty good moderate guy in a pretty balanced state. He'd be a good representative for fiscal conservative, but probably more socially liberal. But I was expecting DeSantis. Um, but if you look at the other hand, a lot of Trump supporters, or I'm sorry, a lot of Trump supported candidates were not successful. And I think that's interesting and also good news. Um, they were election deniers. They, you know, some of them were just kind of idiots, jerks, guys that just didn't seem like they'd be good representatives. Like, for example, Herschel Walker, who still could win, or Dr. Oz. Just kind of liars, charlatans, etc., hypocrites. So I was glad they didn't win. But some are saying, hey, they didn't win because Trump's power is waning. Trump picked the wrong guys, and then DeSantis won by even more than the the polls were saying. So that makes DeSantis look like he's on the upswing, and Trump look like he's on the downswing, and that's potentially good. And so despite my disappointment with DeSantis winning, I'm thinking maybe some good outcomes for the nation could come from this. And for me, it's not liberalness. It's just these are things that I think are good for everyone. Um, so had DeSantis lost Florida, he wouldn't have had any momentum going towards the presidency, and Trump and everybody else could pick on him and say, you can't even win against Charlie Crist and all this stuff. And so he'd be banging into a wall. He'd look like he was defeatable. And so this would have given Trump lots of momentum. Um, and I believe, bar none, that Trump is the worst thing that's ever happened to our politics, period. Um, so DeSantis having momentum is a good thing because it limits Trump's momentum. And it could be a changing of the guard where Trump is just kind of losing relevance. We've been hoping for this for a while, but maybe it's real now. And DeSantis is different in some ways. So either of these guys could lose to Biden or whoever runs for the Democrats. But I prefer DeSantis because he just doesn't have that Trump Teflon thing that can't lose, no critique lands. He doesn't have as much charisma. He doesn't have as much crazy. Um, so I was glad to see. I'm glad to think of him. If I had to pick right now, you get two choices for president: DeSantis or Trump. It's DeSantis any day of the week. And I can't stand DeSantis, but so much better than Trump. So he copied Trump, and I don't think he has the same manipulative powers as Trump. Not as crazy, and as well, um, let's say DeSantis runs, he could always lose, but if he wins, or if he's just running and Trump gets held accountable in one of these many lawsuits many criminal cases against him, his family, his crime family. Um, Trump's going to lose some of these. He's got to. Some of them are, just obvious, and we're hoping they happen sooner than later. But if DeSantis is a candidate or DeSantis is president and sees Trump held accountable, I think these will be chastening to DeSantis. He doesn't want to go down on a ball of flames like Trump. Um, I don't think DeSantis wants to foment a coup. I don't think he can talk and lie and whatever his way out of things, especially if he sees Trump having consequences. I mean, we did see Herschel Walker kind of pull out the badge thing at the debate with Raphael Warnock and laugh about it. And you could see in that moment to me that the light bulb was flickering on for a moment, saying, oh, it's not about the truth. It's about that willingness to lie, that I'm impervious, I'm beyond truth, I'm post truth, and that it's really a cult of personality, and that somehow even a very small personality like Herschel Walker's had enough of a cult of personality for him to get lots of votes and challenge Raphael Warnock, who's, a competent person. So Trump's waning in influence and power is in everyone's best interest, because Trump was the creator of the coup and the big lie and the mess. And the red wave never came. Lots of election deniers lost. And so maybe this is the beginning footstep on a path back to kind of quasi-sane politics, where even a guy I don't like Ron DeSantis, runs, wins potentially, and then just kind of sees guardrails, sees Trump like, okay, he just lost his business. He just had to pay $1 billion and all these different things, and now he's maybe in federal prison or being charged with federal crimes. I want to win, but I don't want to win so bad. I don't need to have a tarnished thing. I don't want to be impeached. I don't think that's who DeSantis is. DeSantis was in the military. He doesn't want a dishonorable discharge. Where Trump was so far gone, so crazy, so many financial and legal issues that nothing mattered because he was trying to outrun them with the presidency, and is again. So Ron DeSantis doesn't have those problems. He's sneaky. He's a fake populist, and everybody's all hot and bothered about him. But at the end of the day, he's probably more like a typical politician than anybody else. He'll do some dumb things like the Disney thing and some dirty tricks and some kind of grandstanding. But at the end of the day, will be different than Trump any day of the week, and especially while watching Trump getting consequences for his actions. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Who would I rather have between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis? And it's definitely Ron DeSantis, and that's what just played out here. So all in all, you can't be too dismayed if you're kind of a Democrat just wanting Republicans that aren't in the pocket of Donald Trump, let's say, to run and just have politics as usual, or get back to that, or see that on the horizon. This is about the only outcome I could have thought of that would have brought that about.